Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Ava tried to ask Lucas for some Jerome money, but he said there wasn't any and he wouldn't touch it if there was. Kristina urged Sunny to use Ava's financial troubles to get custody of Avery. When Ava visited and asked for more child support, Sunny offered her the $2 million she needed if they reduced her custody. As they argued, Sunny collapsed, and Ava eyed his heart pills. Kristina returned and gave her dad his pills and told Ava to leave. They called Isaiah, who wanted to move up his surgery. Sunny declined, and later confessed his heart problems to Laura, who agreed to help keep it quiet. Ava told Rick about Sunny's collapse and the pills. When Ava dropped Avery off at Sunny's, she asked about Sunny's health, but Kristina wouldn't tell her anything. She came home, annoyed Rick parked in her space, and an enraged Kristina interrupted, yelling that she was going to stop Ava one way or another. In the garage, she tampered with what she thought was Ava's brakes, but after Liz dropped off some papers for Rick, he gave her a ride home and lost control of the car. At the police station, Valentin told Alexis he was responsible for taking away Elva's Casadine money and asked her to take care of Charlotte. Alexis said she had to keep that money for Ace, but promised to take care of his daughter. Charlotte arrived and shared an emotional goodbye with her papa as Valentin was taken away to serve a life sentence at Steinmauer prison. Lucas told Liz that Brad was blackmailing Portia, and she agreed that if the hospital could be affected, they had to find out what she was hiding. After being caught by Drew going through his safe, Nina went to the hospital, where Ava urged her to team up with Portia against Drew. Liz asked Rick how bad the situation was and offered her help. Drew got angry when he found Curtis with Tracy and blasted his old friend for calling him Drew Kane in his coverage. Ezra complained about delays in the Esplanade and again pushed to move it to Sunny's pier, but Laura refused. He brought up the mayor's ties to a crime boss, but Jordan warned him to back off. Drew met with Ezra and wanted the Quatermain crypt torn down. Gio and Emma tried to come up with a plan to save the crypt, but couldn't get Ned on board. Councilman Boyle arrived with a construction crew and the sheriff to demolish the crypt, but Trina filmed everything as Emma chained herself to the door, and Tracy joined her. Unfortunately, when Anna arrived, she couldn't stop it. Meanwhile, a startled Kai considered Drew's offer to pay for special surgery to help him play ball again. Brennan watched as Vaughn administered a lie detector test to Jocelyn, which she passed. Jack told her about Carly being poisoned, and she warned if he was using her mother, he'd regret it. Later, Jocelyn covered her swollen ankle for another sparring session with Vaughn, but after learning she'd been injured for days, he instructed her to ask for help when needed. As Vaughn explained how violence should be a last resort, Joss asked how he became an agent, but he wouldn't say. Jason warned Carly that Jack's world was dangerous, but she refused to break up with him. Jason declared that whatever happened to her would happen to Brennan, and if she died because of him, he would kill Jack himself. Carly checked herself out of the hospital and warned Brennan, who insisted he wasn't afraid of Jason because he genuinely cares about her. Brick told Sunny and Jason he had a lead on the guy who almost killed Michael. His name is Stilinski, and he's a contract killer who is currently in Toronto. Jason prepped for a trip to Canada, and Sunny insisted on going with him. Stilinski found Sunny in his apartment holding a gun on him and demanding the name of the person who hired him. Stilinski insisted he'd be killed if he said anything, but Sunny said he'd kill him right now if he kept quiet. Lulu quit her job at Deception, accusing Brooke Lynn of sending Chase to harass her and insisting Dante deserved to know about his son. Cody caught Lulu blowing off steam, and she fumed about getting caught up in all the lies. Chase apologized to Brooke Lynn for threatening Lulu, and she begged him not to let this drama change who he is. Lucas told Maxie about what happened in Miami, and she urged him to reach out to Marco. Sasha told Maxie that she overreacted about Sidwell, and it shouldn't affect Deception doing business with him. Rick and Alexis both agreed to a ceasefire, and Molly and Kristina made the first steps towards repairing their sibling relationship. Liz was delighted when Lucky booked them a trip to New York, and they reminisced about the last time they visited. Lulu warned her brother against trying to recreate the past, but he insisted they were looking up to Isaiah about feeling caught between Laura and Sunny. Brick stopped by with flowers for Jordan, but saw she was with Isaiah, so he left. Though not before hoping that the doctor isn't part of his family's questionable activities. Jordan wondered what that was all about, but trusted Isaiah to tell her what she needed to know. In an explosive twist on General Hospital, the drama reached new heights when Kristina Corinthos Davis, usually known for her more subdued presence, found herself at the center of a shocking moment. For weeks, tensions had been building, and many had speculated about the simmering issues Kristina was grappling with. Her complicated family dynamics, her relationships, and her personal struggles had often been at the forefront of her storyline. But no one could have predicted the depths to which she would sink in this moment. In a series of events that unfolded with terrifying speed, Kristina tried to kill Ava Jerome, the notorious yet charismatic mob matriarch. Ava Jerome had always been a character surrounded by controversy. Loved by some, despised by others, Ava's manipulative tendencies had earned her a reputation that preceded her wherever she went. Despite being an integral part of Port Charles' most powerful family, she had made as many enemies as she had allies. Still, no one could have anticipated that Kristina would be the one to cross the line. The tension between Kristina and Ava had been mounting for months, if not longer. Ava's influence on Kristina's family was undeniable, with her alliances sometimes putting her directly at odds with Kristina's sense of loyalty. Kristina's feelings of betrayal had been building, compounded by her father Sunny's complicated relationship with Ava. To many, Sunny's connection to Ava seemed more like a source of anxiety and disappointment rather than something stable or comforting. Kristina, always protective of her family, found herself tangled in a web of resentment toward Ava, fueled by years of rivalry and emotional instability. However, the breaking point came in a moment of intense emotional upheaval. Kristina had always struggled with feelings of inadequacy and her place within the family. Despite being raised by two powerful figures, Sonny Corinthos and his wife Carly, Kristina never quite found the same sense of security. Her struggles with identity, her strained relationship with her mother, and her constant battle with the weight of expectation took a toll. These feelings only escalated after a series of explosive confrontations with Ava. What had started as a rivalry between two women soon escalated into something much darker. Kristina's motives weren't entirely clear. Part of her was driven by her burning anger toward Ava for the way she had manipulated situations in her favor, often at Kristina's expense. Another factor was undoubtedly her resentment toward the way her father had treated her throughout the years. Sunny had always been the all-powerful figure, and Kristina often felt as if she were a mere afterthought in his complex world. Yet, Ava's role in their shared world was a constant reminder of Kristina's sense of inadequacy. Her resentment for Ava intensified, culminating in an unthinkable act. Kristina attempted to take Ava's life. The chilling moment unfolded in a dark, almost surreal sequence. Kristina confronted Ava, both women locked in a heated exchange. The conversation, laced with bitterness, quickly spiraled out of control. Ava, always able to manipulate situations to her advantage, attempted to remain calm and composed. She taunted Kristina, pushing her further into a corner. And at that moment, Kristina's temper flared. Without any warning, she lunged at Ava, desperation in her eyes. The scene was nothing short of shocking. Kristina, once a woman who was often seen as a passive participant in the lives of those around her, now took center stage as a threat to someone she had long regarded as an enemy. It was a moment that exposed the fractures in her psyche, the cracks in her emotional armor. Her rage was all-consuming, and in the heat of the moment, ever resourceful, fought back. She managed to free herself from Kristina's grasp, and the two women struggled in a fight that was both physical and emotional. The clash was a reflection of the years of animosity, jealousy, and unresolved tension between them. Each woman had her own set of demons, her own battles with family and identity. And as they fought, the lines between right and wrong began to blur, leaving behind a scene of chaos that neither of them would ever forget. But just as quickly as the confrontation escalated, the reality of the situation hit. Kristina, realizing what she had just tried to do, was overcome with a mix of guilt and confusion. She stood over Ava, her breath ragged and her hands trembling. Ava, though shaken, managed to regain her composure. This was a turning point in both of their lives, as the consequences of what had just transpired would ripple through their world in ways neither of them could predict. Ava's life hung in the balance, and Kristina was left to confront the full weight of her actions. In the aftermath of the attack, the tension within the Corinthos family escalated. Sonny, blindsided by the realization that his daughter had tried to kill someone, found himself torn between his family loyalty and his desire to protect Kristina. Carly, ever the strong-willed matriarch, was forced to grapple with the idea that her daughter might have crossed a line that could never be undone. Kristina, for her part, was left reeling from the emotional turmoil of her own actions. The guilt, the shame, and the fear of what might happen next were overwhelming. Was this the moment when she had truly lost control? Or had she merely been pushed to the brink by the years of unresolved issues and pent-up anger? Her attempt on Ava's life was more than just an impulsive act of violence. It was the manifestation of a deep-seated emotional struggle that had finally exploded into the open. As the days passed, the consequences of Kristina's actions began to unfold. Ava's recovery was slow but steady, and her determination to hold Kristina accountable for her actions became clear. Despite the complexities of their relationship, Ava was not one to let anyone get away with an act as heinous as this. But there was also a surprising shift in Ava's character. While she still resented Kristina's attack on her life, she found herself grappling with an unexpected sense of empathy. Perhaps in some strange way, she saw herself in Kristina, a woman who had also been forced to navigate a world of violence, deception, and betrayal. For Kristina, the aftermath was just as turbulent. As word of the attack spread through Port Charles, the weight of public opinion began to press in on her. She faced judgment from her family, from her friends, and from the citizens of the town. Many wondered how far Kristina had fallen, how deeply her resentment toward Ava and her own family had taken root. The path to redemption, if there was one, seemed impossible to navigate. Kristina found herself at a crossroads, unsure of how to move forward. Was there a way back from what she had done, or had she burned too many bridges? In the coming weeks, Kristina would attempt to make amends, but the damage was done. She had crossed a line that could never be erased, and Ava, while seemingly forgiving, would never forget what Kristina had done. The tension between them would continue to simmer, and their complicated relationship would never be the same again. As for Sonny and Carly, they were left to pick up the pieces of their family. Their love for Kristina remained, but they also understood the gravity of her actions. The struggle to keep their family together in the face of such chaos would define the next chapter of their lives. Kristina's journey, like Ava's, would be one of reconciliation, self-discovery, and perhaps redemption. But for now, the question remained: could Kristina ever truly move past the darkness that had overtaken her? Or was this the moment that defined her future forever? Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.